Hey Pisces, I need to share something with you today that came through in this reading, and honestly, when I started pulling these cards, I felt this immediate sense of protection around you, like the universe has been working behind the scenes in ways you might not even realize yet. I know things have felt confusing, maybe even a bit overwhelming, but I want you to understand that you have help, real help, the kind that is keeping you from falling into traps that were specifically designed to catch you off guard. So I am sitting here with my cards, and the energy coming through is really clear about something. There has been interference in your situation, not just natural drifting apart, not just normal relationship stuff, but actual dark interference. Someone deliberately caused a separation, and I am going to walk you through exactly what the cards are revealing about this whole situation. The good news is that you are about to receive news that is going to clarify everything. Things that have been hidden are coming to light. And honestly, the timing of this reading feels really significant. Before I dive into the cards, I just want you to take a breath. If you have been feeling like something was off, like things did not add up, trust that feeling. Your intuition has been trying to tell you something, and these cards are here to confirm what you have sensed all along. The universe has your back in this, Pisces. You are not alone. And you are definitely not falling for whatever games have been played around you. All right, so the first card that came through for you is the Empress. And when I pulled this, I immediately felt this nurturing, protective energy surrounding you. The Empress is about divine feminine power, about creation and protection and abundance. What I am seeing here is that you are being shielded by forces that genuinely care about your well-being. This is not just wishful thinking or generic spiritual stuff. The Empress represents actual protection, like a mother watching over her child, anticipating danger before it arrives. What this tells me about your situation is that while someone was busy setting traps, trying to manipulate circumstances to catch you in a vulnerable position, there was simultaneously this protective force working to guide you away from those traps. Have you noticed moments where you almost went in one direction, but something made you pause? Times where you were about to respond or react in a certain way, but something stopped you at the last second. That was the Empress energy working through your intuition. The thing about the Empress is she represents fertility and growth, but she also represents fierce protection when her loved ones are threatened. Right now, you are in a phase where you are being actively protected from energies that do not have your best interests at heart. Someone tried to create separation, tried to drive a wedge between you and something or someone important to you, but they underestimated the protection surrounding you. They thought they could manipulate the situation easily. But what they did not account for was this divine intervention that has been keeping you safe. I am also seeing with the Empress that you have been doing your own inner work, maybe without even realizing it. You have been growing, evolving, becoming more grounded in who you are. That growth has created a kind of energetic shield around you. People who operate from manipulation and deception cannot penetrate that kind of authentic power. They can try. And clearly, someone has tried, but the Empress energy is telling me that their attempts are basically bouncing off you. What I find really interesting about this card in your reading is the timing. The Empress often appears when you are on the verge of a significant breakthrough, or when you are about to receive something you have been waiting for. In your case, this is directly connected to the news you are going to receive soon. This news is going to have a nurturing quality to it, meaning it is going to help things grow in the right direction. It is going to water the seeds of truth and expose the weeds of deception. You are being prepared right now to receive information that will make everything make sense. The second card I pulled is the Lovers. And okay, this is where things get really interesting, because the Lovers is not just about romantic love. It is about choices, alignments, and the consequences of decisions made by you and by others around you. When the Lovers appears in a reading about separation and interference, it is telling me that there was a critical choice point that happened, and that choice point was manipulated. What I am seeing here is that someone made a choice that affected your connection with another person or situation. This was not a natural choice based on authentic feelings or genuine circumstances. This was a choice that was influenced, pushed, maybe even forced by outside interference. The dark interference that the reading is highlighting, it happened at a moment of decision. Someone whispered in the wrong ears, planted seeds of doubt, created scenarios that forced people to choose when they were not ready to choose. But here is what the Lover's card is really showing me in your spread. That choice, that manipulation, it is not going to stand. The Lovers is about divine union and true alignment, and when something is built on deception, it cannot hold that Lover's energy. What was separated through manipulation is going to have an opportunity to realign, but only if that is what is truly meant to be. The universe is not going to force anything, but it is going to clear away the false barriers that were erected through interference. I am also getting that you might have felt really confused about your own feelings or your own choices lately. Like you were questioning yourself, wondering if you made the right decisions or if you should have done something differently. The Lovers is here to tell you that your heart knew the truth even when your mind was being fed lies. You made the best choices you could with the information you had, and any manipulation that happened was not your fault. You were not naive or foolish. You were dealing with someone who deliberately obscured the truth. The energy around the Lovers in your reading also speaks to future choices that are coming. Once you receive this news that is on its way, you are going to be faced with decisions about how to move forward. The Lovers is encouraging you to choose from a place of authenticity, from a place of true alignment with your values and your genuine feelings. Do not let the manipulation of the past make you doubt your ability to choose wisely in the future. You have divine guidance with you, and you are going to know exactly what to do when the time comes. What I really want you to understand about the Lovers here is that it represents sacred contracts and soul agreements. If there is a connection that was meant to be in your life, no amount of interference can permanently destroy that. It might create temporary separation, it might cause confusion and pain, but if something is meant to be part of your journey, it will find its way back to you. And if something is not meant to be, the Lover's energy will help you see that clearly so you can release it without regret. The third card that came through is the Magician. And when I saw this card, I actually felt a chill, because the Magician represents someone who has all the tools and knows how to use them. In your situation, this is showing me two things. First, there is someone in your scenario who has been using their skills, their words, their influence like a magician uses tools. They have been crafting illusions, creating false realities, manipulating what people see and believe. This is the person or energy behind the dark interference. But here is the thing about the Magician. This card also represents you and your own power. You have all the tools you need to see through illusions. You have the ability to manifest your own reality. While someone has been using magician energy in a shadow way, trying to deceive and manipulate, you have access to that same energy in its light form. You can see the truth. You can manifest clarity. You can create your own reality instead of living in someone else's illusion. What I am seeing with the Magician is that this person thought they were so clever. They believed they had everyone fooled, including you. They used communication, they used timing, they used their understanding of psychology and human nature to create the separation. They were methodical about it. This was not a random act or an emotional outburst. This was calculated. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they felt confident in their ability to control the narrative. But the Magician has this interesting duality. It can represent manipulation, but it also represents the revelation of tricks. The news that is coming to you, it is going to expose the methods you are going to see exactly how things were manipulated. The specific words that were twisted, the timing that was orchestrated, the way information was withheld or presented to create maximum confusion. You are going to understand the mechanics of what was done to you, and that understanding is going to be incredibly empowering. I am also seeing that you have been developing your own magician abilities without realizing it. You have been learning to trust your intuition, to see beyond surface appearances, to recognize when something does not feel right, even if you cannot immediately explain why that is magician energy in its highest form. That is you learning to read energy and see truth. The person who tried to manipulate you underestimated your growth in this area. They thought you were easier to fool than you actually are. The magician in your spread is also telling me that you have the power to manifest a different outcome than what this person intended. They tried to write a story where you were left confused and separated from what matters to you, but you have the ability to rewrite that story. You have creative power. You have the tools of manifestation at your disposal. Once you receive this clarifying news, you are going to be able to take conscious action to create the reality you actually want, not the reality someone else tried to force on you. Moving to the fourth card, I pulled the Eight of Cups, and this is really significant because it represents walking away, but not in defeat. The Eight of Cups is about leaving behind what no longer serves you, even when it is difficult, even when part of you wants to stay. In your situation, this card is showing me that the separation that occurred, while it was caused by interference, it might also have been necessary for your growth and protection. What I mean by that is sometimes the universe allows things to fall apart because staying in that situation would have been worse for you in the long run. The interference happened, someone deliberately caused this separation, but at the same time, there was a divine reason why you needed to step back from that situation. Maybe you needed distance to see clearly. Maybe you needed space to grow into who you are becoming. Maybe you needed to be removed from an environment that was slowly draining you even before the obvious interference happened. The Eight of Cups is telling me that you have been in a process of walking away from illusions. This is not just about one person or one situation. This is about a whole way of being, a whole set of false beliefs or toxic patterns that have been part of your life. The dark interference, as painful and unfair as it was, it actually accelerated your departure from things that were not good for you. It forced you to leave what you might have clung to out of hope or fear or habit. I am seeing that you might have felt a lot of grief about this separation. The Eight of Cups carries a melancholy energy because leaving is hard even when it is right. You might have looked back, wondering if you should have fought harder, wondering if you gave up too easily. But what this card is telling me is that you did not give up. You were pushed out by interference, yes, but you also chose on some soul level to honor your own journey over staying in a situation that required you to be smaller than you are. Here is what is really beautiful about the Eight of Cups in your reading. It represents a quest for deeper meaning and emotional fulfillment. You did not just walk away into emptiness. You walked away towards something better, even if you could not see it clearly at the time. You walked away toward truth, toward authenticity, toward connections and situations that can actually nourish your soul. The person who caused the interference thought they were hurting you, but they actually freed you from something that was limiting your growth. The news that is coming is going to help you understand this more clearly. You are going to see that what you lost was not actually what you needed. You are going to recognize patterns that were unhealthy, dynamics that were imbalanced, energies that were draining you, and you are going to feel grateful eventually that you were forced to leave. Not grateful for the manipulation or the pain, but grateful for the liberation that came from it. The fifth card is the Knight of Cups, and this is where the energy shifts because the Knight of Cups is a messenger. This is literally the news that is coming to you. This knight represents someone or something that is going to bring you information, clarity, truth. The Knight of Cups is romantic and idealistic, but he is also sincere. The information coming to you is going to be delivered with good intentions, with care for your emotional well-being. What I am seeing with the Knight of Cups is that this news might come from someone who genuinely cares about you. This could be a friend, a family member, maybe even a new person entering your life who has information you need. Or this could represent the universe itself, sending you signs and synchronicities that reveal the truth. However this information arrives, it is going to have an emotional quality to it. It is not going to be cold facts delivered without context. It is going to be presented in a way that considers your feelings and your healing process. The Knight of Cups is also telling me that this news is going to validate your emotions. If you have been feeling hurt, confused, or betrayed, this information is going to confirm that those feelings were completely justified. You were not overreacting. You were not being too sensitive. You were responding appropriately to a genuinely messed up situation. That validation is going to be really healing for you because I sense you have been doubting yourself, wondering if you were seeing things clearly. What is interesting about the Knight of Cups appearing in this position is that he often represents offers and opportunities that come after a difficult period. So yes, you are getting news that clarifies the interference and the manipulation, but you are also potentially receiving an offer of reconciliation or a new opportunity for emotional fulfillment. This night brings proposals, invitations, chances to begin again with more awareness and better boundaries. I want to be clear, though, that the Knight of Cups is not telling you that you have to accept whatever is offered. He is just the messenger, the one bringing possibilities. You still get to choose what you do with the information and opportunities that come. But what this card is promising is that you will have choices. You will not be left in limbo forever. You will receive clear information that allows you to make informed decisions about your path forward. The energy of the Knight of Cups also speaks to healing your heart after this whole situation. Knights are on a journey, and your journey right now is about emotional healing and learning to trust again after betrayal. This news that is coming is part of that healing journey. It is going to help you close one chapter so you can genuinely open to the next one. It is going to help you release any residual confusion or false hope, so your heart can be free to experience authentic love and connection in the future. The sixth card I pulled is the Five of Wands, and this is showing me the conflict and competition that has been going on behind the scenes. The Five of Wands represents struggle, disagreement, people working at cross purposes, and often it shows up when there are multiple people fighting for the same thing, or when someone is deliberately creating chaos to serve their own agenda. In your situation, the Five of Wands is revealing that the person who caused the interference was not acting alone, or they were creating conflict between multiple parties. This was not a simple situation with clear sides. This was messy. There were different people with different agendas, different versions of truth being presented, different loyalties being tested. You might have felt like you were in the middle of something chaotic, like you could not get a clear read on what was actually happening, because there was so much confusion and contradiction. What the Five of Wands is telling me is that this chaos was intentional. Someone benefited from keeping everyone confused and in conflict. When people are busy arguing with each other or defending their positions, they are not looking clearly at who is actually causing the problems. The dark interference worked partly because it created so much smoke that no one could see the fire clearly. Everyone was reacting and defending and attacking, but the real manipulator was staying hidden in the chaos I am also seeing with the Five of Wands, that you might have felt like you were constantly having to defend yourself or explain yourself during this period, like you were in battle mode, even when you did not want to fight. That is exhausting, and it is part of how manipulation works. If someone can keep you drained and reactive, you do not have energy to step back and see the bigger picture. You are too busy dealing with the immediate conflicts to recognize the pattern. But here is what the Five of Wands is also showing me. This phase of conflict and confusion is ending. The news that is coming is going to cut through all that chaos and reveal what has actually been happening. When you have clear information, when you understand the true source of the conflict, all that confusing fighting energy dissipates. You are not going to be stuck in battle mode anymore. You are going to be able to step out of the arena entirely and let the people who created the chaos deal with the consequences. The Five of Wands in your reading is also a warning for the future. Now that you have experienced this kind of manufactured conflict, you are going to be better at recognizing it if someone tries it again. You are going to see the signs earlier. When someone is trying to pit you against others, or trying to create confusion to hide their own actions, you will spot that pattern you are learning to see through these tactics, and that knowledge is going to protect you going forward. The seventh card is the Queen of Swords, and when I pulled this, I felt this surge of clarity and protection. The Queen of Swords is the ultimate truth teller. She cuts through illusion with her sharp mind and clear perception. She cannot be fooled by charm or manipulation because she sees situations objectively. She is the energy that has been protecting you, and she is also the energy you are stepping into as you move through this situation. What the Queen of Swords is showing me is that you have guardian energy watching over you. This could be a literal person, maybe a woman in your life who has been giving you good advice or protecting you behind the scenes. Or this could be your own higher wisdom, your own ability to see truth even when it is uncomfortable. The Queen of Swords does not sugarcoat reality. She sees what is, not what she wishes it would be, and that clarity is what keeps her safe. In terms of the interference and manipulation you have experienced, the Queen of Swords energy has been working to cut the cords of deception. Every time someone tried to pull you into their web of lies, this energy was there saying, wait, look more closely, something is not right here. She is the voice of reason when emotions are running high. She is the clear perception when everyone else is caught up in drama and confusion. I am seeing that the Queen of Swords is also representing the energy of the news that is coming to you. This information is going to be clear, direct, and probably somewhat harsh in its honesty. It is not going to be easy to hear everything that has been done, but you need that clarity. You need to know the truth so you can make informed choices. The Queen of Swords delivers truth with precision, and while it might sting initially, that sting leads to healing, because you are finally dealing with reality instead of illusion. What I really want you to understand about the Queen of Swords in your reading is that she represents your own power to discern truth going forward. You have been through a masterclass in manipulation and deception. You have seen how people can twist words, how they can use your own compassion and trust against you, how they can create elaborate false narratives. Now that you have seen all of that, you are gaining Queen of Swords level discernment. You are becoming someone who cannot be easily fooled. The Queen of Swords is also telling me that you need to be willing to make hard decisions based on truth rather than hope. Once you receive this clarifying news, you might be tempted to make excuses for people or to give chances that are not earned. The Queen of Swords says no. When someone shows you through their actions that they are willing to manipulate and deceive, believe them. Set boundaries that reflect reality, not the reality you wish existed. Protect your peace with the same fierce clarity that the Queen of Swords uses to protect hers. The eighth card in your reading is the Judgment card, and this is absolutely perfect because Judgment is about revelation, awakening, and karmic resolution. This is one of the most powerful cards in the deck when it comes to truth being revealed and people being held accountable for their actions. When Judgment appears, it is saying that a reckoning is at hand. What I am seeing with Judgment in your spread is that the person or people who caused this interference through dark means they are going to face consequences. Judgment is the card of cosmic justice. It says that you cannot act in secret forever. You cannot manipulate and deceive without eventually being exposed. The universe keeps receipts, and judgment is when those receipts are presented. The news that is coming to you is part of this judgment process. What was hidden is being brought to light. What was whispered in secret is going to be shouted from rooftops. People who thought they got away with their manipulations are going to realize that nothing was hidden from the universe, even if it was hidden from you temporarily. Judgment sees all, and judgment is fair in a way that humans often are not. I am also seeing with Judgment that this is a moment of personal awakening for you. You are being called to rise to a new level of consciousness and awareness. The situation you went through was painful, but it was also initiatory. It forced you to wake up to realities you might have been avoiding. It pushed you to grow in ways you might not have chosen consciously, but that you needed desperately. Judgment is saying that you are being reborn into a wiser, stronger version of yourself. The Judgment card often appears when we have completed a major life cycle, and we are ready to move into something completely new. The separation that was caused by interference was actually the end of an old cycle that needed to close. You could not carry those old patterns, those old dynamics, those old illusions into your next chapter. Judgment cleared the deck so you can start fresh with eyes wide open and a heart that is wiser about who deserves access to it. What I find really powerful about judgment in your reading is that it promises resolution. You are not going to be left wondering forever. You are not going to spend years trying to figure out what really happened. The truth is going to be revealed in a way that is undeniable. You are going to have your moment of clarity where everything clicks into place and makes sense. That moment is coming soon, and it is going to free you from so much mental and emotional weight you have been carrying. The ninth card is the Five of Cups, and I am going to be honest, this card speaks to the grief and disappointment that comes with betrayal. The Five of Cups shows a figure looking at spilled cups, focused on what has been lost while ignoring the cups that are still standing. This is exactly where you have been emotionally. You have been grieving the loss, the separation, the betrayal. You have been focused on what went wrong and what was taken from you. But here is what the Five of Cups is really teaching in your reading. Yes, there was loss. Yes, the interference caused real damage and real pain. Yes, you have every right to grieve what was destroyed by someone else's selfish actions. But the Five of Cups is also saying that not everything was lost. There are still cups standing. There are still blessings in your life. There are still possibilities ahead of you. You have been so focused on the betrayal that you might have missed the ways you are still blessed and protected. What I am seeing with the Five of Cups is that part of your healing is going to be shifting your focus from what was taken to what remains and what is coming. This does not mean bypassing your grief or pretending the loss does not matter. It means allowing yourself to see the whole picture. The person who interfered took something from you, but they could not take everything. They could not take your essential self. They could not take your capacity for love. They could not take your future possibilities. The Five of Cups in your reading is also acknowledging that you have been in a place of disappointment. Maybe you had hopes and dreams attached to the situation that was disrupted. Maybe you believed things would work out a certain way, and now you have to grieve those expectations along with the actual loss that is real and valid. The Five of Cups gives you permission to feel that disappointment fully without rushing yourself to be okay before you are ready. But this card is also a turning point. The figure in the Five of Cups will eventually turn around and see the remaining cups. You are going to reach a point where you can turn around too. You are going to be able to see that while this chapter did not end how you wanted, there are new chapters waiting. The news that is coming is going to help you turn around because it is going to give you closure. You cannot really move forward when you are still trying to understand what happened. Once you have that understanding, you can honor what was lost and then turn toward what is possible. The 10th and final card I pulled for you is the Knight of Wands. And this is such a hopeful card to end on because the Knight of Wands is all about forward movement, passion, adventure, and fearless pursuit of what excites you. After everything you have been through, after the interference and the grief and the awakening, you are heading into a phase of dynamic forward motion. The Knight of Wands is showing me that you are not going to stay stuck in the pain of what happened. You are going to move through it and beyond it with surprising speed once you have the clarity you need. This knight is impulsive in the best way. He does not overthink. He does not get paralyzed by fear of making mistakes. He sees an opportunity or a direction that excites him, and he goes for it. That is the energy that is coming into your life. What this tells me about your future is that you are going to feel inspired again. The dark interference tried to dim your light, tried to make you doubt yourself and your path. But the Knight of Wands says your light is coming back even brighter than before. You are going to feel passionate about your life again. You are going to have ideas and goals that excite you. You are going to want to take action and create and pursue what makes you come alive. I am also seeing with the Knight of Wands that new opportunities are coming your way. This could be in love, in career, in creative pursuits, or in personal growth adventures. The universe is opening doors that were closed before. The interference that happened was trying to keep you small and contained, but it actually broke you out of a limiting situation. Now you are free to explore paths that you could not have accessed if you had stayed where you were. The Knight of Wands is also telling me that you are learning to trust yourself again. After being manipulated, it is natural to doubt your own judgment, but this Knight says you are reclaiming your confidence. You are remembering that you are capable, that you have good instincts, that you can handle whatever comes your way. The manipulation made you question yourself temporarily, but it did not break your essential spirit. That spirit is fierce and alive, and it is ready to move forward with courage. What I love about the Knight of Wands as your final card is that it promises adventure and excitement ahead. You have been through the darkness, you have learned hard lessons, you have grown in wisdom and discernment. Now it is time for joy and passion and bold moves. The universe is not going to leave you in recovery mode forever. You are being prepared for something really good, something that is going to make you feel fully alive. So Pisces, let me pull all of this together for you. You experienced real interference, real manipulation that caused a separation you did not want or deserve. Someone deliberately used dark tactics to disrupt your life and your connections. That is the painful truth. But here is the equally important truth. You have been protected throughout this entire experience. You have not fallen into the traps that were set for you. You have had guardian energy watching over you, guiding you away from the worst outcomes, helping you see truth even when it was being deliberately obscured. The news that is coming to you soon is going to clarify everything. You are going to understand exactly what happened, who was involved, and how the manipulation worked. That information is going to hurt because betrayal always hurts. But it is also going to liberate you because you will finally be able to stop wondering and questioning and doubting yourself. You will have facts. You will have clarity. And from that clarity, you can make wise choices about your future. What I want you to really hear is that this experience, as painful as it has been preparing you for something better. You have learned to recognize manipulation. You have developed discernment. You have discovered inner strength you might not have known you had. The separation that was caused by interference was also a liberation from patterns and situations that were not serving your highest good. You would not have left on your own. You would have stayed out of hope or loyalty or fear of the unknown. The universe moved you anyway, because staying would have cost you more in the long run. You are entering a new phase now. The grief is real and valid, but it is not going to define your future. You are going to turn around and see the possibilities that still exist. You are going to feel passion and excitement again. You are going to take bold steps toward what you really want. And you are going to do all of this with so much more wisdom and awareness than you had before. The person who tried to manipulate you actually gave you the greatest gift by showing you exactly what you do not want and teaching you how to spot red flags early. I want you to know that the help you have had throughout this is not going away. You are protected, you are guided, you are being prepared for genuine love and authentic connections that do not require you to doubt yourself or walk on eggshells or accept manipulation as normal. You deserve so much better than what you experienced, and better is coming. The Knight of Wands promises forward movement into exciting new territory. The Judgment card promises that justice will be served and that you are awakening to a higher version of yourself. The Queen of Swords promises that you now have the clarity and discernment to protect yourself going forward. Trust the news when it comes. Trust your own perceptions. Trust that what was meant for harm is being transformed into wisdom and strength. You are not a victim of this situation. You are a survivor who is becoming even more powerful because of what you have endured and overcome. The traps did not catch you. The interference did not destroy you. You are still here, still strong, still deserving of all the love and success and joy that is coming your way. Keep your heart open, but your eyes clear. Keep moving forward, but honor your need to grieve and process. You are doing better than you think you are, Pisces. The universe has your back, and your best days are absolutely ahead of you.